I am live. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a good day. It's nice and cold and windy here in Southern California. Not what we'd expect for Southern California in the springtime. Lots of snow around us. No snow here because we're right next to the beach, but snow just in the surrounding mountains. Closed off a lot of roads. Still, people are stuck in the snow. They've had up to 6 to 8 feet of snow in the mountains around us. That's a lot of snow. A lot of snow for us, especially now that we're in a drought. So hopefully this will help us get through that drought. Won't bring us out of the drought, but we'll have more water in the reservoir. So let me say hi to everybody. Hello, Ed. Chattanooga Eduardo is here. He just came up. Lady Rorschach, enjoyed your focus on yesterday. Learned a lot about you. Silver Creek Aquatics. That really means a lot. That you're really looking forward to my live stream. I just hope people enjoy my live streams. Even if you're here on my on the recast, the crew that comes in later and watches it, howdy to all. Corey Dorable, Kelly Aquariums is a wrench lady now. Joe Haney, hello. Eric Wyrock, hello, Eric. Dave's Aquarium Thoughts. Paul Soltero. Good day, sir. The Nano Aquarium guy. I'm looking this way because that's where my iPad is, that I can see everybody who's on the live stream. Let's see. Dave's Aquarium Thoughts. Good day. Nano Aquarium, if I'm saying you again, I'm sorry. I'm an old man. I forget about these things. Dennis Christensen. Good day, everybody. And that looks like we have everybody. If you come in after this, I'm sorry, you won't know that I said hi, but I'm saying hi to everybody. So what I want to talk about today is if you had a chance to go to Peru, not sure how you would have a chance to go to Peru, but if you had a chance to go to Peru, what would it be like going to Peru? What fish could you catch? So I'm going to spend a little time today on the fish that you're going to see. And hopefully, because my presentations that I had were so large, for some reason, I could not reduce the size of the photos in my presentation. I tried everything, went in, did everything it said to do. My presentation ended up being about 600 megabytes. Nah, not 600, about 300 megabytes. So I went through and deleted some slides, brought it down to about 300, 320. And it only allows you to have a 50 megabyte presentation. So I had to break this down into 5 different presentations. So hopefully it's going to go smooth. So let's do the first one. And let's go Peru. So on the banner you see down there, we'll talk about it. I see Corey Dorables put it in the chat already. So you all know that today is the official date that starts the raffle for a free trip to Peru. What it is we will give you up to $2,000 for a ticket to come to Peru. You stay a week at the research center. We feed you, we house you, and we provide your transportation. If you want to go out collecting, we'll facilitate you going out collecting. We'll go out with you. We'll set you up with our fishermen, set you up on the boats and things. These are all day trips. So these aren't not multi-day trips. So we go collecting, we come back to the research center. We can go at night as well. The itinerary is pretty well open. And so today I'm going to talk about what you might see when you're on the expedition, so to speak. And we'll come back and talk about the raffle a little bit. So fly you into Iquitos, Peru, which is in the northeast corner of Peru. Stay at the Amazon Research Center for Ornamental Fishes. Here we'll house you, we'll feed you, full amenities here. We are, our rooms have 2 beds in them. They have their own bathroom with hot and cold running water, shower, the full works. There is an air conditioner in each room, as well as a ceiling fan. So if you just want to have the ceiling fan on, that's perfectly all right with me. Actually better for me because it cuts down electrical costs. Electrical costs is our biggest cost there at the research center right now. And we think electrical costs are outrageous here in California. They're triple, quadruple the cost there in Peru. Kitchen, we have our own kitchen here. We will be providing you food, making you the food, but there's always food in the kitchen with a dining room associated with it. And we do have laundry facilities on site. We have a washer and a dryer. A dryer is very difficult to find there in Iquitos, but I wanted it so you dry clothes outside when it's 100% humidity. Takes a while for the clothes to dry, but when they do dry, they're nice and musty smelling. Mold sometimes grows on them. So have a dryer, cuts down on those problems. So let's talk about the places that you will go collect. So here's Iquitos, and I'm here at home. I'm moving my arrow around, but you don't see the arrow on yours. So you can see the city of Iquitos there. The white area to the northeast, and around the east side, you can see that nice brownish river. That is the Amazon River itself. It is a whitewater river, pH of about 7.8 to 8. But although it's a whitewater river, it still tends to be low in conductivity, anywhere from 80 to 120 microsiemens, which is fairly soft water. Just to the east and south of the Amazon River, you can see that dark area. That is the Itaya River Basin. To the northwest, you can see that dark region. That is Rio Nanay. And coming off of the Rio Nanay, even though you can't see it, we have the Rio Mamon. So there's the opportunity to go and collect in the 4 major rivers that surround Iquitos, and also the opportunity to go into some of the creeks. So I will show you fishes from the Amazon, the Itaya, the Rio Mamon, the Rio Nanay, and some of the smaller creeks that we have in and around Iquitos. So this is the Rio Nanay. This is one of the backwaters of the Rio Nanay. It is a brown water river, dark water river. You can see on the other side of the bank there, you can see the dark grasses that are growing from the tree. That's actually the high water mark. So we're still in fairly high water when I took this picture. That's one of the problems that they've been having in Iquitos is the high water. Low water is really just the seasons aren't right. When I was there this past summer in June to September, that was supposed to be low water. The water never came down. Didn't start coming down until end of September, and that was supposed to be the start of the rainy season. When I went back in January of this year, it was the dry season. So seasonality there is really screwy, and that really screws up the fish. And so, things aren't normal in this part of the Amazon right now. Corridor zone aquatics, listen, because you never know what can happen. So what we normally do is we take out big seines. Sometimes, in some of the smaller creeks, we use hand nets. But most of the time we use seines. We have 3 or 4 seines. The one I like to use is about 15 meters long and 2 meters high. And the best thing to do is either surround vegetation or along the shores, or find some structure that's in the river and then surround the structure with the seines. And when you do that, most fish are structure-oriented fishes. You're going to find lots of fish. So this is Roberto, one of the fishermen I've been working with for the past 15 years. And he helps us when we do our research, or when we have people that are collecting, other scientists collecting there, or just people want to collect. And then what we do is surround that vegetation. And there I am in the cowboy hat supervising. That's my job, seems to be these days, is to supervise. And we start to remove all the structures from the inside of the seine. So here we're removing a large piece of tree that is in the river. Once we're done seining the area, we put back the trees back in the water, because these are important structures again for the fish. We remove all the plants from inside the seine, and then we work the seine up to see what we catch. So you can see now we're working the seine in, bringing the seine closer and closer. It's important that we have the net high, because there are lots of fish like the peacock bass and some of the other fish are good jumpers, and they will actually jump over the net. And we've had, peacock bass jump over us to escape the net. So a lot of fish will do that. And then we bring the seine in. So this is just a typical seine, what we've caught there, lots of tetras. So let's go through some of these fishes. This is what they call the barracuda. It is small. We can get up to about 30 centimeters, 12, 14 inches long, big teeth. It's a predator. Eats all the other fish. Oscars. One of the Cyclosoma, I believe is Cyclosoma amazonorum. Lots of Farloella type. So this is the common loricarids that we have here. One of the geophagan type. This is Biotoma cupido. Beautiful blue stripes through the face, and the abdomen tends to get very purplish, especially when they are breeding. One of the longer tetras. Again, I work with 4 or 5 species of fish. So this is a fish that I really know very well. There's probably 100 tetras in this area. They're just little tetras to me. But this is one of the larger ones. This is Boca Chica, they call it. This is a local fish they call a sardina. This is Tripathoris. Some people call it the giant hatchet fish. Doesn't really look like a hatchet fish to me, but that's what the common name for some of the people here in America. These are actually illegal to export out of Peru, primarily because they're a food fish. Most food fishes are not allowed to be exported out of Peru. Leperinus, beautiful fish. One of the many knife fish. The knife fish are very common in the roots of the grasses that are floating on the surface. There is a knife fish that is pretty well transparent. They call it the transparent knife fish, transparente. And at times you can catch 1,000 within a 1 square meter area underneath the vegetation. So, we think of knife fishes as being bottom dwelling fishes, but they're in their native habitat. They tend to stay up in their roots in the upper columns of the water. Baby, really small baby peacock bass. One of the many woodcats that we find here in the area. Festivum. And of course, angelfish. You find angelfish all over the Amazon in the Rio Nanai region. There is one special collecting spot where I can collect spotted angelfish, either the black spotted or more of an orange brown spotted angel. Very beautiful fish. You know that these fish are called the Peruvian ultims. They're called Peruvian ultims because when they are juveniles, their body is small, but their finnage is very long. And as they grow, their body grows faster and grows into their finnage. So when they're young, they kind of look like an ultim angel, but when they grow up, they're just a normal scalary angel. One of the piranha species, lots of piranhas. We swim with piranhas all the time. Nothing to worry about. They're not going to bite you. Here's one of the other piranhas, one of the red belly piranhas. Beautiful, gorgeous fish with this purplish sheen on their body. Just amazing colors on this fish. And one thing you'll notice on many of these fish, they won't have pristine finnage on them. There'll be bites taken out of them. And that's normal for most fish there. Piranhas will eat their fins. Many of the other tetras will eat their fins. Piranhas are a tetra in itself. So they're all going after the fins of fishes. So it's very common to have big chunks of fins bitten out of many of the fish. And some of the fishes, if you notice in the pictures, they'll have chunks taken out of their caudal fin or their dorsal fin. This is the porthole catfish, Dyneema. Very common. Sometimes you catch 500-600 in a seine. And this is in Colombia, they call this discus falso. This is one of the severum species. You do have the normal green severum, and then you also have the red shoulder severum as well. And of course, you can find discus in this area. Discus are normally caught at night, but we've actually been catching them during the daytime. In the daytime, you catch more than one at a time. At night, when you go out fishing for them, you're only spotlighting for these discus, and you normally only see one or two in the upper near the surface of the water, and those are the ones you're able to catch. So let's now go to, I believe, the Itaya River. So here's the Itaya River basin. The Itaya River actually flows right next to Iquitos. Then it comes out into this large lagoon-like area. At one point, this used to be the Amazon River. The Amazon kind of changed its course and now it's just a big floodplain that will, during the dry season, will be dry, and during the heavy rainy season, it tends to be covered in water. So here is right next to the city itself, with some floating houses there. Very common in this area for people just to have houses that float. They are anchored to the bottom, and so when the water completely drains from this area during the dry season, they'll be on land, and as the water comes up, they'll now be floating houses. So again, we do like we did before. We tend to surround vegetation. Here is a big mat of water hyacinths that we are surrounding, and you catch tons of fish. And now you'll see lots of different fish that we catch in the entire river. So typical Seine, knife fish galore here. Elephant or long-nosed knife fish. The black ghost knife fish. It's a bad picture, but that, believe it or not, that is a black ghost. Corydoras, many Corydoras type fishes here. So if we look at this one tends to be more spotted in the body. This one tends not to have many spots, but they are caught together. And so they're probably the same species of catfish. A striped Raphael catfish. The Limna catfish, or Lima, not Limna. Limna is duckweed. We don't want duckweed here. Lima, shovel-nosed cat, a little baby. Probably, you can see it's probably about 4 inches long. Common lorikerat again. But we also get the Pinocchio lorikerat. So that's about a 6-inch, 14 centimeter, 15 centimeter Pinocchio lorikerat. Normal Farlawella twig catfish. And electric eels. We were able, and unfortunately, we caught 2 electric eels on one of our seines. By the time we pulled the seine up, we just skedaddled because we can actually feel the bolts running through the water. And by the time we got it up, every fish in the seine was dead except these 2 electric eels, which are actually types of knife fish, and they would be pulsing. They will tense as they pulse, and every fish was killed. We actually gave these knife fish to one of the local fishermen, and he sold them to one of the exporters in the city. So you know there are certain things that can hurt you in here. Piranhas aren't one of them. This is a symbranchid eel, the swamp eel, very common in this area to have these swamp eels. This is a needlefish. Sorry, it's a bad picture, but that is a needlefish. There are also angelfish in the Italia River. Angelfish everywhere. One of the epistogrammas. Lots of epistogrammas as well. This is, again, Biotoma cupido. What is the name? Biotoma cupido, but they call it bonita, a geophagan type cichlid. A true geophagan, this is probably Jurapari. No, it's not. Probably Heckley, not Jurapari. Festivums, one of the smaller pike cichlids. They actually call this, I believe it's the green pike, but they call it the loco. Loco as in crazy, because at night when you go through the water and some of the backwaters, these little pikes try to jump out of the water and skirt along the very edge of the creek. One of my favorite fish, especially when they're juveniles, this is the chocolate cichlid, or the purple cichlid as they call them here in Peru. I have some right now at my house that I collected when they were juveniles, and I do now have a breeding pair, but they never get this color like they get in the native, in the wild. So this is a breeding individual. Gorgeous, gorgeous fish. Oscars. A larger, 6-inch, 14, 15 centimeter peacock bass. More piranhas. This is the true red belly piranha. Juvenile red belly piranha. One of the other piranhas are white piranhas, babies. This is not a piranha. This is one of the silver dollar type fish that they have here. Some type of caracid. A close-up of another caracid, a tetra. Boca Chica, this is actually a food fish there. It is an herbivore, but it is a food fish for most of the people there. Hatchet fish, silver hatchet. You do also have marble hatchets, especially in the Rio Nanai. Another one of the silver dollars. So this is what you would normally expect as a tetra. Kind of looks like a cyprinid, but it's actually a tetra. This is Huapeta, one of the saber-toothed tetras that they have here. Lots of different catfishes. This is one of the pimiolids, the long whisker catfish. This is Hoplios malabracus, the true wolffish. This is a juvenile wolffish here, get to be about 1 meter long, really massive fish. They are major predators for most of the fish in these river systems. This again is the sardina, the giant hatchet fish, so to speak. And another one of the pike cichlids. This picture didn't come out the best, but this is a pike cichlid with a ruby red abdomen. And you can see the back on the caudal fin. That is not the normal shape of the caudal fin. That has been chewed off by fishes to make it nice and straight edge like that. What are the pictus? This is the striped pictus catfish. One of the juvenile silver dollar type fishes here in this area. And this is one of the Ulysses Friedrich, I believe. And this is probably one of the most beautiful autosynclists, but it's really not, it's autosynclist type. This is one of the giant autosynclists with this mottled pattern. Some of the giant autosynclists have more of a yellow patterning to them, but they're very nice looking fish, very common in this area, both in the Ataya and the Rio Nanai. I have some in the large tank that sits behind me when we go live, and so they are fairly large. The max they get is about 5 inches. The max I've seen them, so they're not the small mini autosynclists, but a very large autosynclist. Another one of the dynemas, the Hoplios cats. This is a Friedrich, another type of Liparinen type. Large tetra. So tetras can be small or they can be pretty big. So this is Geophagus gyropari. This is the gyropari earth eater. This is a fish that is illegal to import into the U.S., at least in California. This is one of the fishes that is related to the kangaroo catfishes, the Cetopsis. It tends to be a fish parasite. It kind of acts like lamprey eels for those of you who know lamprey eels from the Great Lakes. When fish are caught on a fishing net, these fish will bore into the fishes on the nets, the gill nets, and consume them from inside out. And so there is this pink looking one, and there's also a gray one. There's probably about 6 species here in this area, but they are on a list where they cannot be imported into the U.S. One of the duckbill catfish, one of the Turashuki types. Along the lateral line, there are lateral line spines that it uses as defense from being eaten by the big fish. One of the other catfish, lots of catfish in this area. A bagre, as they call them, a catfish again. Sorry, these names escape me. This is the mouse cat. Hassar is the genus. They are nice looking little catfish. They get about 4 or 5 inches long. They school. We can catch them here in the Itaya River and as well as the Rio Nanai. So let's move now to, where are we moving to? Oh, I think we're moving to the Rio Mamon, which comes off at the very start of Rio Nanai. Rio Nanai is that dark line just to the left on your screen there below the bend, or right where the bend starts of the Amazon River. And the Rio Nanai, or the Rio Mamon, comes off at the end of the first bend of the Rio Nanai. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Got it all screwed up. So here we're collecting the Rio Amazon in the Amazon River itself, on one of the islands that forms out in the middle of the Amazon during low water. These islands are actually used as an agricultural base. They will grow watermelons up here, very good watermelons that they grow during the dry season in the Amazon. All those nutrients in the water act as natural fertilizers for the fish. So here we're using a seine with a much larger mesh size, catch larger fish, not necessarily the smaller fish, but the larger fish, especially catfish. There are some saber-tooth tetras in here, some larger catfish. They also have what I call the true giant hatchet fish. These are very, very large silver hatchet fish, probably half the size of your palm. So much larger than the normal silver hatchet fish that we see in the wild. They don't do very well. The ones that we've captured and put into containers to take back to the lab have died within the first 10, 20 minutes. So they need this constantly flowing water to do really well. This is one of the knife fishes that you find in the Amazon, in the true Amazon River itself. One of the long-whiskered catfish. This guy wanted his picture taken so badly, So I decided, okay, let's put him in with a catfish. That became his dinner that night. You know, we help out the locals when we can, when they help us out. Um, you know, they especially those that do some of the farming, eke out a meager existence up there. So we try to help as much as possible with the fish that we catch that we know we're not going to use for the research center. If they're uh, edible fish, we'll give them to the people that will help us out. We'll also pay them. So if they help us, we'll pay them both in cash and in some food substances. Another one of the catfishes we saw before in the Itaya River itself, the Lima shovel-nosed catfish. One of the pleco types, lower carried with very, very long tendrils coming off all the fins. A pleco. I'm sure Rebecca can tell us all what they are. This is the Hystrix plecostomus. This is one of the other giant ottos in the area. Duckbill type catfish. The striped Pictus catfish. Believe one of the wood cats, little wood cats. My glasses are doing funny things to me right now. And again, one of the Turishuki catfishes with the spines along the lateral line edges. And this is one of the food fish. This is one of the flathead catfishes, the shovel-nosed catfishes. This is not the true tiger shovel-nose, but one of the false tiger shovel-noses that they have in this area. They use this catfish when they make ceviche. This is the one of the fishes that is used primarily for ceviche. And this is again one of the Cetopsis. This is a more grail Cetopsis. Some people will call these the whale fish. Not sure why, but they'll call it the whale fish. But these are the fish parasites. Again, one of the giant ottos. Here's a giant hatchet fish up close and personal. A Leporhinus. Small tetra of some sort. Actually, fairly large tetra. One of the silver dollars. And on this one seine, we caught all these juvenile tetras. Kind of, you know, all of them were glass type tetras, not the typical glass tetra that you see, but it's they were crystal clear. Another tetra. This is the blue tetra that they have in the Amazon River. This photo does not do it justice. You need to see this out in natural light. They have a blue pearl opalescence to them. You bring them in the aquarium and it just doesn't do them justice. They kind of blanch out, almost have a gray appearance, but this is a gorgeous, gorgeous tetra. And unfortunately, it just doesn't show its colorations in captivity at all. And we caught thousands of these, you know, almost look like leptocephalus larvae, just all these tiny, tiny larval fishes. Don't know what they were. We didn't have, I was the only fish biologist there. Others were just the collectors, and so I'm not sure what they were. And one of the saber-tooth tetras. So next we'll move on to Rio Mamon. Again, we're off the Rio Nanai. One of the barracudas, this was about 25 centimeters long, 10 inches long or so. One of the predators. Small peacock bass. One of the Pimaloid catfish. So you can see that some of these fish are found in multiple rivers here, especially the Ataya Amazon. It kind of blends into one. The Nanai Rio Mamon, even though Rio Mamon does have their own specific species, the Julii catfish that come from Peru are found in Rio Mamon and not in the other rivers. So, there are some endemism there. Cupido again, found in 3 rivers now. One of the larger size tetras. A baby Haplos malabrachus, a baby true wolffish. Another one of the small pike cichlids. Common loricarid. 2 geophagans of some sort. At first, when we saw them, we thought they were tilapia, and then we were dying because we don't want to see tilapia here. But when on close inspection, you can see that they're not tilapia. The puffer, we caught this puffer just at the mouth of the Rio Mamon, so it probably has come up from the Amazon River. They're very, very common. They form large schools in the Amazon River itself. One of the elephant nose knife fish. So, we didn't catch that many fish in Rio Mamon, primarily because we don't fish the Rio Mamon very often. I've only actually been there once in the 15 years that I've been to Peru. It's just, I don't spend much time there. Easy to get to, but it's just not someplace that we go and do any collection. And lastly, we'll talk just a few slides of some of the smaller creeks that we've fished here in Peru. This is a creek just south of the research station on one of the side roads. Most of the year, it's just a small creek, but during the rainy season, it does flood into the surrounding land. And so this is what it looks like underwater. Found a few of these tetras here. Nice little red tail or red finned tetras. And then what we also find here are what they call the sunset epistogramma alto hio or something of that sort. The females get a bright yellow, hence the name sunset. But in most cases, many epistogramma females take on a bright coloration as well, or a yellow coloration as well. Also find the zebra knifefish in this area. A little bit further up along this area, there's a small pond, so to speak, where it just flattens out. And we'll find this is the sailfin tetra. They are found there, but I'll show you a place where they're really found in. These are, this is a small creek that you find Rivulus rectocaudatus, the red spotted killifish. You find another species of Hoplios. It's a small a Hoplios that only gets about 3 inches long. And then you find symbranchid eels as well. And so the symbranchid eels are probably the major predator in some of these smaller creeks. And with that, we hit you with this. This is win a trip to the Amazon Research Center in Peru. So let's go back to me live. Hey, I'm back. So if you go to click on the link that's been posted in chat, as well as it's on the banner there in front of me, you can have a chance to win a trip. We are doing a raffle starting today, even though some people jumped early and bought tickets early. It runs from today until March 31st, 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. It's open to anybody in the world. Last year, the winner was Alexander Lerner. He is a baker from Germany. He spent a week with a friend of his, Karsten Kast, who is a Corydoras expert from Germany. And they came to the research center, spent a week, collected fishes, and then were able to work with one of the exporters to ship the fish to a importer in Germany. So there is the possibility, especially if you're from the U.S., if you have an import-export permit from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, we'll help you work with one of the exporters. You pay all the exportation fee, you pay all the paperwork on both ends. The fish can be shipped back to you. So the raffle tickets are $50 each. Again, open to anybody in the world. We give you up to $2,000 for a plane ticket. I know one of my students who's doing a summer internship for me this summer just bought his round trip ticket that's going out of San Francisco, California, and he was able to buy it for about $700. So there are some cheap tickets out there in the U.S. If you're on the East Coast, you'd probably fly through Miami, so you probably get a better deal. You fly into Peru, into Lima, and then from Lima you take another airplane about an hour, a half hour, 45 minutes from Lima to Iquitos. Lima is in the southern part of the country, so you fly back north into Iquitos. You have up until 2024, September of 2024, to take the trip. So if you won the trip and you could not arrange to take it right now, you can postpone it up till the end of September of 2024. There's no strings attached here. The only strings attached is it's a plane ticket up to $2,000. For some people, that's 2 tickets. For others, that just pays for one. We understand that. That's the only caveat here. Well, the other caveat is you have to be 18 years or over to win. Now, if you won and you're 16 or 17, if you bring a parent or guardian with you, that's perfectly acceptable. But if you're coming by yourself, you have to be 18 years or over. We don't have the capacity or the insurance to deal with minors at this time without an accompanying guardian. So those are the only caveats. So you spend a week, we feed you, you live in the dorms. If you want to just come and work at the research center, work in the aquarium, help us with research, just do whatever at the research center and not necessarily collect. You don't have to collect every day. Um, you know, there's ample things to do at the research center just in our daily operations. There will be a chance if you want to go to the Manatee Rescue Center. We have a very good relationship with the Manatee Rescue Center and the Amazon Forever organization. So there will be opportunity to go visit them. Um, there will be opportunities to go visit some of the fishermen themselves. And actually, if there are fish that you wanted that you could not find, um, we could go directly to the fishermen and buy it from the fishermen. We can also go to the exporters and buy fish from the exporters themselves that we don't catch. There are some regulations that you must deal with, especially if you live in the U.S. If you're shipping into California, unless you ship out of California directly, and it's just a bypass station, there will be no piranhas, no stingrays. Well, stingrays you need CITES permit anyway. So if you plan to, want to buy stingrays from the exporters, know that it's going to be a CITES fee within Peru and a CITES fee and a CITES permit before you even import them into the U.S. So think about that. And there are some fish that that they don't allow out of Peru if it's a food fish. Tigrinus catfish, not allowed. The Gerensis, one of the false Tigrinus, not allowed. The Sardina, the giant hatchet fish, Triportheus, not allowed. For a long time, Oscars were not allowed because they're considered a food fish. So there are some things to think about when you are trying to export fish. But we'll work through that process, help you through that process. The fish will be housed there at the research center. We won't house them for months, but they will be housed while you're trying to arrange all the paperwork and everything for for your exportation. So if you have any questions, any questions, please bring them up. I was not looking, wasn't looking at them while I was going through my talk. Do you provide mosquito swatters? Mosquitoes aren't that bad. My wife, who is a mosquito magnet, has not had problems with them in the last couple of years. She does take but she does use a lotion that seems to do really well for her. And so, there are times when mosquitoes can be bad, but we haven't seen it in the last couple of years because of the weather patterns that are going on. People may be worried about the insurrections that are happening in Peru because of what's happening with the presidential problems they're having in Iquitos. They don't worry about that. Iquitos is left alone pretty much. In the country, they're by themselves. Of course, you'll have once in a while you have protests and they'll block the roads, but it's just local protests for local issues. They really don't get involved in much of the politics of the country just because they have enough to worry about there in Iquitos. So Iquitos is relatively safe. Of course, you have pickpockets, you have, local petty crime. But we're far away from the city. We're, 7.5 kilometers out south of the airport, and the airport is right at the edge of town. When you take a bus or take a motor taxi into town, it takes you about 45 minutes to get to the town center where everything, that's where most of the restaurants are. You can go to the boardwalk, so to speak, that overlooks the Itaya River. Joe, Iquitos is a fishing town, but most of the fishing is for food fish. the largest exporters in Peru are located in Iquitos. So unless you're in the aquarium business, you're one of the local fishermen for ornamental fishes. The hobby is really not seen at all. There is a couple aquarium stores in town, and you can buy guppies there. Well, guppies are wild in this part of Peru anyway. They've been released for mosquito control, but you can buy fancy guppies. You can find goldfish. You can buy barbs. You can find all the basic fish that we have here in Peru. I mean, here in America, or even Europe. No problem, Dragon Lair. Some people are worried about mosquitoes. They really are. You do have to get yellow fever injections going into Peru, going into the rainforest. Any part of South America that you go into, you have to show. I've never been asked for it, except in Colombia. You have to show your card to say you got yellow fever injections. It'd be a good idea. I do it all the time. Take malaria pills. The pills that I take is Malarone, which is specific for malaria. Some people go on the antibiotic. You can go on an antibiotic for anti-malarial, but the problem with that is you have to take it up to 31 days after you return. And that, antibiotics wreak havoc on your body. The Malarone, you only take 5 days after you return. So that's it. You don't have to take Hep B, Rebecca. They recommend hepatitis and recommend tetanus. They recommend, some other ones, but I had Hep B long time ago. The injection long time ago when I was working in the Middle East, but I've never gotten any other injections besides the yellow fever. So buy a ticket. Last year, I think we had 125 tickets sold. So, you have 1 in 125 chances of winning. A lot better than winning the lottery. And so, this is totally on the up and up. You don't even buy the tickets from us per se. You go through a third-party vendor that controls everything, that works with nonprofits to do fundraising. We are licensed, certified here in the state of California to run a raffle. So we're doing everything on the up and up. We're doing everything on, by the law. It's there for you. Again, if you win, you have up until September of 2024. The best time to go is the dry season, which normally is June to September. But even if it is slightly higher water, there are plenty of places to collect fish. Plenty of places to collect fish. A lot of the creeks, we collect fish and do things for our research at, many of these creeks. So there's hundreds of creeks that you can collect fish. Killifish, you want to collect killifish, 4 or 5 different species of killifish. You want to specifically go after some of the tetras. We know where to go. If you're some of the catfish, microglannis, we know where to get those. So, we have fishermen that work the area all over. So if you're looking at specific or wanting to get specific fish, just let us know and we'll work that into the itinerary. So other than that, anything else that you may want to know? Good afternoon to you, Ray Aquatics. If I missed you all, not saying hello to you, I'm sorry I missed you if you weren't here earlier when I said hello to everybody. I wasn't trying to ignore you, just kind of hard to look at chat while I'm trying to look at slides. So I hope you understand. With that, if you have any questions at all about anything, let's see. You can email me here at amaze@amazonresearchcenter.org. That is the research center's email that goes directly to me. The email that is associated with the YouTube channel is Amazon Research Center at gmail.com. So either emails will work. I will, I look at them directly. I can put my university email address up there too if you want. I am a university professor, teach fish biology this semester. So that also. One other thing is, if you are interested in doing an internship, we do have internships available, internships or volunteerships available at the research center. The only stipulation is that we like you to spend a minimum of 3 weeks at the research center. You have to find your own way to Peru, but once you're in Peru, once you're in Iquitos, we house you and we feed you at the research center. So if you're interested in doing a internship, please let me know there. If you go to our website, and our website is here, AmazonResearchCenter.org. There is a upper tab that has internship volunteer programs. You fill out the application, comes directly to me, and within a few days you'll find out whether or not you're accepted. Probably you'll be accepted. You do not have to know Spanish. Spanish is not a requirement per se. It's always helpful to know some Spanish. Portuguese. There are people there who speak Portuguese. So if you're interested in that, please let me know, and I'll give you all the information to that. So with that, I say buy many, buy often on the raffle tickets. You don't want to miss this opportunity. We did it last year. It was very successful. And so we decided to do it again. We don't make that much money off the raffle because, of the cost for transportation, and had to rent a 4-wheel drive vehicle, things of that sort. But it's just a great opportunity to get people exposed to the Amazon who've never been there, get people exposed to what we're doing in the Amazon, looking at some of the education work that we're doing with the school kids in the area. Gets the word out about who we are and show that we're not such bad people. We're good neighbors there in Peru. So with that, Crypt Keeper, what are the qualifications? If you're breathing, you can come. There are no qualifications to do internship or volunteership. The only reason why they're separated in internship and volunteership, students, college students, high school students like internships so they can put it on their resume. Those people who are already working, who already have their professions, oftentimes don't care about internships. You come and do volunteerships. There are no difference in what we have people doing. It's just what we call the people. So again, nothing at all, no difference, and no qualifications. Just be willing to learn, be willing to work. Don't be a whiner. I whine enough for all of us, so just don't be a whiner. That's all I care. Other than that, I will be leaving you all. Have a great day. Thank you for showing up today. I know it's in the middle of the day. It's not the most convenient time for a lot of people in the middle of the day, but I appreciate the 20, 22, 23 people that are here. I do appreciate the time that you allow me to spout off on things that I enjoy. I enjoy fish. Like you, I'm a hobbyist. I may be a fish biologist, a college professor, but like you, I'm a hobbyist. I've been a hobbyist. I love fish, hence the big tank in the background. Maybe next week I'll show you my fish room and show you all the fish in my fish room. just so you can see what I keep. That means I have to clean the glass and everything. You know, I like algae on my glasses. So not these glasses, but the front glass of my aquarium. So this weekend, maybe I'll spend cleaning the fish room and cleaning all the tanks. So until next week, give your family a hug, treat your fish right, do your water changes, and I hope to see you again next week. Thank you very much for coming and listening to me. I appreciate it. Thank you.